All right, let's just get down to it.
F.
No, and there's your Patriots grade podcast for week 4 of the 2023 season. It's like that, each week here on Six Rings of Football Things. It's Fitzy, it's Hart, producer Justin Turpin helping us out here. Brought to you, of course, by WEI Odyssey and 2400 Spots. Look, there is
FanDuel. Don't forget FanDuel. You can't spell FanDuel without F.
Correct. We're sponsored by, of course, our friends at FanDuel Sportsbook. FanDuel, make every moment more. I wish the Patriots would actually read the tagline and try to incorporate it into their gameplay, or just make every moment score, or just score anything,
or just go away,
or just stop. Just don't play. Just say, you know what, actually, guys, we're going to call it. We're going to take our ball and go home. Bring an XFL team into play. How about the Battlehawks? Fine, somebody that can actually score, someone interesting, somebody compelling. Okay. So each and every Tuesday when we record our recap pod, not, of course, the immediacy of the post-game show, which hopefully you guys subscribe to and listen to and enjoy. It was a robust and zesty one following the 38-3 defeat at the Star in Jarrah World. Patriots 1-3 in the season. You know all the details at this point now. 1-3, last place in the AFC East, worst loss in Bill Belichick's coaching career, not just with the Patriots, but period.
Hey, they're not actually in last place.
Mac Jones looks awful. They average 13.5 points per game. That is tied for 31st in the NFL. As Warren Sharp put out on the X Monday, the New England Patriots, by a pretty good margin, lead the league in percentage of drives that end in punt or turnover, 71%.
Sounds
not exactly the stat you want to be leading the league in. Save for Bryce Baringer, the rookie punter out of Michigan State. Andy, I don't know exactly what the Patriots do well now. And that's probably because, they get after the passer pretty good. And they can do well. Their top corner now injured, possibly out for the season as he seeks a second opinion on his torn labrum or dislocated shoulder or both. Matthew Judon, your star pass rusher, unofficial team leader and or assistant general manager. He's also possibly out for the season with a torn biceps tendon. No, we don't want to play that talk radio game, but Andy Hart had the exact same thing happen to him, and he was on the shelf for 4 months, and he didn't have to actually try to tackle 350-pound human beings that are full of muscle, rage, and pharmaceuticals. So it's not looking great. We'll get to what the Patriots do in the aftermath of these two devastating injuries in the second half of the pod. But up top, you know what we do. We hand out the grades, and we could run through offense, defense, special teams, coach, quarterback, best and worst. But I think it's a unanimous grade for everybody. I mean, do we give special teams an F?
I would not. I think special teams might be the group that doesn't get the F.
They get a C?
They did score the points. They hit the field goal.
But Ryland missed one later. Not that
he
it mattered.
It was
actually.
a long one. It was a long one, and it happens. And they did punt relatively well. Now they did also get faked out of their jocks on an over-aggressive PAT block, where we get all icky baluki to say, look,
they studied tape and they knew that Jake Bailey bobbed his head 1 second before the snap was coming, and that allowed Brett.
Well, the other team looked and said, why y'all over there going to try to block this when I could just go over here with a pass and get the 2-point conversion? So I'll take the extra point.
And that guy, exactly. Hat tip to the Cowboys for doing their work against the Patriots. That dude wasn't just open. He was open by a lot. And he wasn't fast neither. We're talking somebody who would make Pharaoh Brown look like Tyreek Hill. And yet he had all day to rumble and stumble into the end zone. Just a day. A game and a Sunday, Andy, with a nationally televised audience, the Fox primetime slot, where everything about the Patriots was just exposed and ugly. And you have to wonder now, what does the national audience think of the New England Patriots? What does the national audience think of Mac Jones and Bill Belichick? Not that in New England we give a flying flip about what other people think about us, but just for a second, let's imagine, what do other people think about the Patriots right now? As far as where they were and how far they seem to have fallen.
Well, I think the fourth quarter discussion between the
Burkhart
Fox broadcasters in terms of, is Mac the guy? Where's the future of this organization? What is this organization doing? Tells it all. Now, they're not quite ready to, I think, laugh at the Patriots, kick them while they're down, because I think there's still a little bit of that Undertaker, Freddy Krueger, are they really dead? Let's not poke them. Let's just let them be dead over there and laugh from afar and not really jump on their grave, just in case they jump out of their grave, grab our leg, and rip us down into the dirt. But I think the Patriots I will say this. I texted a buddy in the league today and kind of we were joking back and forth about stuff. And I made a joke about Bill kind of being done. And he said, yep, leaving that one alone. He'll find a way. He usually does or something. So there's still that idea in the league, but I think it's fading. And you and I talked about this. It should be fading, like this whole uncharacteristic. No. 4 years, 3.5 seasons. It's been characteristic of what they are.
Correct.
But I still think there's that hesitation, that little bit of fear that he's still Bill Belichick and they're still the Patriots of the past.
Now, there's that whole, there are those that are calling for Bill's head now. There are those that are reminding everybody of his legacy, what he's been able to accomplish before. Bill built this team. He deserves to pay for it. Yeah, but 2 years ago, he was executive of the year. I don't care about any.
Not like captain goes down with the ship, like it's his ship. So if he wants to drive it into that iceberg and into the deep blue sea, he's allowed to.
But that, see, again, no matter how many. How about? I don't think we'll be seeing them go back to the ship anytime soon either. No.
I actually had that discussion with somebody last night at a high school game, a high school football coach, and I was like, forget Super Bowls and ships. But how far away are they from like division titles? Like, it doesn't it feel like at best they're 4 or 5 years away? And I know things change quickly in the NFL and worst to first and the whole league and that. It just feels like with kind of what's going on in Buffalo, they're not dead. Kind of what's going on in Miami, they're kind of building something. It seems like you're looking up at the division for a while because you don't have the offense, you don't have the quarterback, you don't have the future. I feel like forget all the other crap to the contender status. Can you win a division title in the next 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years? Like, when do I stop?
Yeah, and the Jets were a catastrophic injury away from a Hall of Fame quarterback from being relevant to possibly very good this year. I mean, we saw Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson put together a game Sunday night against the Chiefs and the refs and the Swifties that was kind of better than any game I've seen Mac play this year. What fresh hell is this? What world are we living in?
Well, speaking of Mac, and so are we agreeing we're giving lots of bad grades out and we're just kind of having a nice general discussion of a bad team?
No. I'm not wasting any of time is the one thing that we have not enough of in this world. I'm not spending time parsing out why Belichick gets an F, Mac Jones gets an F, the offense gets an F, the defense gets an F.
So speaking of Mac Jones, and I agree with you, F, go over to weei.com. I think the beginning of the end has already begun for Mac Jones. I don't think he's going to be the Patriots quarterback, but I do want to look at something. I thought against the Eagles in the second quarter, Mac Jones, remember he had those back-to-back drives, touchdown drives. I thought he played the best he's played as a Patriot. I thought that he went, I think, 11 for 11, if my memory serves me right, right down the field, touchdown. I thought that was the best he'd played. And then fast forward, 3 weeks later, and in the second quarter against the Cowboys, I thought that was the worst we've seen Mac Jones. I thought he melted down. I thought he was an absolute disaster. We joked on the Breaking Boston podcast that Daniel Jones looks like deer in headlights. Mac played like deer in headlights. Like, that was unacceptable. And it's not just the turnovers. There were other bad throws, decisions, possible turnovers, potential pick sixes that didn't come to fruition. How does that happen? How do we feel a little bit of momentum and then the bottom falls out?
I can tell you exactly how I believe that happened, and I think it's actually probably good therapy for Pats fans right now. Can Mac Jones play in this league? Probably, yeah, sure. Have we seen him look better at times? For certain, without a doubt. But to me, the conversation begins and ends, and I've been back and forthing it on the X with people for a while now. Mac's got to go. He's ruining the season. Again, the Patriots have many problems. Mac Jones is not the only one. I even think it foolhardy to put him.
The biggest one, right?
I know he's not. He's not. To me, the biggest problem is the offensive line. When the Dallas Cowboys end up registering a pressure on every other dropback, dude, you saw last night. We talked about it on the Breaking Boston podcast. There's so many of them. On the other podcast, someplace, wherever. Daniel Jones, as much as he sucked last night, and he sucked in the Monday Night Football game, what are you going to say he could possibly do with an offensive line that allows him to get sacked 11 times? This isn't high school. This isn't a D3 team playing an SEC school. This is the Giants against the Seahawks, and the Giants are home on Monday Night Football. Mac Jones was pressured on every other dropback. The offensive line is horrendous. It's not bad. It's not very bad. It's horrendous at this point. They're going nowhere and doing nothing before they fix this crap show that you and I have been sending flares off about, waving flags, yelling in the town square, interrupting public ceremonies, telling people the offensive line is a problem, and they didn't do enough to fix it.
I agree the offensive line stinks. My counterpoint would be simply, you took a quarterback with the 15th pick in the draft, and he's not your quarterback. That's the biggest problem your team has. It just is. Like,
but and we had the same
highest pick since Gerard Mayo or whoever the hell you took that high. But the reality is you use the 15th pick, a high commodity, higher of value in New England than most places because you don't get up there that often. Post Tom Brady, transitional pick, and it looks like you blew it.
But they've made it. But the thing is, like, I asked you this question on the post-game show Sunday, and I'll ask it again in case anyone missed it. You can always go back and listen to that on the Odyssey app or on the Six Rings feed. However, I'll ask it again. Do you think this is just basically what Mac Jones is, or have the Patriots in large part helped do this to Mac Jones and make him skittish and make him hesitant and force him into trying to do too much? Like, I can guarantee Mac Jones on a regular basis is not a throw it across your body 30 yards across the field multiple times in a game. He's running for his life. No one's open. He's making stupid decisions, idiotic reads. He's trying too hard. I think if anything, tryhardism could be one of the faults, because, like, who's a playmaker? Who the F is getting open? Ramondre Stevenson's tap dancing and averaging 3 yards a carry. The line sucks. He's running for his life. Nobody's open. So he's trying too hard. Put him in, like, the sim is busted.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree he's trying too hard. I 100% agree that he's not making good decisions, which is supposed to be his superpower and his strength. But the reality is, I also don't think he's making anything better. And that's the job of the quarterback. Like,
true,
you can't make it worse. Like, you know, if there's a small fire, you can't urinate lighter fluid all over it and make it explode into a inferno, right? Like, and the other reality is, people are like, oh, how long does he get? I mean, he's 35 starts into his NFL career. He's, this is the beginning of the end. And we also talked about on the Six Rings post-game show, do I think there's an alternate universe where this plays out differently? Either he lands in a different place, he's in San Francisco having fun, or he lands in New England and they keep Josh McDaniels and they get an offensive lineman and they get him a receiver. Like, do I? Absolutely. But sorry, that's not the way this narrative, this choose your own adventure played out. And at some point the book ends. Or I know you want to flip back and make a different decision. Oh, no, I'm going to go back to this page and make a different. Nope. That's not how real life works. The decisions have been made. Belichick has to live with it. And Mac Jones has to live with it, for better or worse, whether he's an active participant in his own demise or a willing bystander. I don't know how the demise is coming. The death is near. And there are aspects of his game. Like, I'm sure you listened to Rex Ryan rekindle the
I'd love to coach against him. Yeah.
Right. There's some truth in that. Like, he can't. Nate Washington did the same thing a week earlier. Max, stay in the middle of the field. You can't throw the ball outside the numbers. Well, when you have a guy that can't run, can't make plays off script, can't make plays outside the numbers, sounds like you got a pretty damn limited quarterback. Oh, and now you mix in bad decisions and overwhelmed in the moment.
Hey, and actually, let me tell you something I heard on Monday morning's the Immediate Reaction Get Up on ESPN. Dan Orlovsky did a great little breakdown on what's plaguing Mac Jones and the Patriots right now. And they looked at the answer was everything. It was a quick segment, a lot of commercials. And then you just had, so it was a two-parter, and obviously a lot of it had to do with the offensive line and the failed tush push, which I agree with Mike Giardi on Twitter when he said, take the Patriots version of the tush push and fire it to the sun immediately. Awful. So poorly executed again, but that's endemic of everything that they're doing or trying to do this season. But also Orlovsky and the crew said, One of the things that's wrong with Mac Jones, I think you may have even in jest said this to me offline in a pre-show text. Does dude even squat? Like Jalen Hurts, like his dad's a strength and conditioning coach, correct? Like he squats 600 pounds. The dude is a brick, pardon my French, FanDuel shithouse. He is a stacked rack of muscles. He is good to go. Mac Jones, in order to be able to drive the ball and throw as a pro in New England across your body to make all these plays that we're talking about that he's not able to physically accomplish. Like, remember we all like last year we saw that Sophie posted the photo of Mac like flexing outside the car, like, ooh, Mac Jones looks like jacked Mac Jones now. He needs, like, you got to put on some muscle if you're going to play. And Tom Brady improved his body over the course of his time. He worked with a specialist to help learn him how to be sacked. He got stronger, more limber, more agile. Like, sorry, Mac, you're going to have to do something different if you want to get another contract and play in the NFL. You can't just live off the strengths, abilities, and, God-given talents you had before. He just not strong enough, period.
I would just argue he's not good enough. Strength may be part of it. Arm
good.
Strength may be part of it, like various things. But I would also, and where I agree with Rex Ryan's criticisms, even his strengths don't feel like strengths, like good decisions, quick throws, pre-reading the play, putting the ball where his receiver can go get it, accuracy. Like even those are not playing out on the football field right now. I take no glee in it. Hell, I can't tell you how much I wanted Chris Scheim on our morning show to be wrong, but Mac Jones isn't that good. And I also would go back to that class. It looks like Trevor Lawrence might be the only starting quarterback long-term in that class. And even he has had his ups and his downs and is not the generational talent.
Curiously, I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what plagues him, but that's for a different pod on a different day. The rest of that class right now, but Justin Fields ends up looking okay. But then again, he did play Denver, who gave up 70 the week before. So, but they have coaching issues. They've got schematic issues.
Oh, it's the same as Mac. Justin Fields will be able to say, did I have bad coaching? Was it a bad spot? Did I have bad weapons? Was there too much this, not enough that? Like, there always will be questions of why it may not all be on the quarterback.
Can we put Mac's brain in Justin Fields' body?
I'd love to try it.
That would be
Ted
spectacular.
Williams' son. Are you on line one? Is that possible?
Seth Brundle, wherefore art thee? I mean, why belabor the point? Just in the grading portion of the pod, everyone pretty much gets an F. It was a putrid effort all around. And God can only hope. Please, 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 please let that be the worst it gets this season. But I can't tell you that that's the worst it's going to be this season. I don't know.
I can't guarantee that either. Just two things to kind of close the door on Mac. He found a remarkable way to stop people from talking about his dirty reputation. Now it's just his playing reputation, his ability.
Pro move. Good job. Yep. Now we stopped talking about nut punch Charlie. Now we're talking, yep. Okay. No more cheap
And then
shots.
The second part, I totally agree with him on Jones and Mego. He just needs to win games, find a way. And I said that the week earlier. I thought the best way to shut up the doubters in terms of dirty play and he's a dink and all this was to win games. Tom Brady quieted a lot of people with just winning games, whatever his criticisms were. Mac needs to find a way to win because he'll get credit. Like it goes as a win. You're no longer a losing quarterback. I think right now he's 17-18, has a 1-game deficit on his overall record.
Correct.
Just win a game. Win 2. It doesn't have to be pretty. You can out-ugly the Saints because there's a lot of questions about the Saints offense and they're not this and they're not that and blah, blah, blah. It, as The Rock would say, it doesn't matter. If you win, you survive for another week. You find a way to kind of quiet the critics and the people that are banging down the door to get into the castle. So just win, Mac. Find a way.
Yeah, don't even just like, oh, well, the Patriots, they can be 3-3 when they come home and take on the Bills. And then like, well, hold on. Don't even look past the Saints game. That's not a guaranteed given W. They have a defense. They all get paid to play. They've got people like Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara and now Chris Olave to contend with. And you don't have a number one cornerback to be found anywhere. And that's exactly where, or pass rush, the same kind of pass rush you had even a week ago. So yeah, just find a way to win, to put off the referendum on Mac Jones and the offense. My God, what are they going to do about this offensive line? Who knows? Maybe reinforcements could be on the way in a number of areas as Trey Flowers, Riley Reif, Tyquan Thornton, Cody Davis, and Jack Jones are all due to come off injured reserve. Which of them actually joined the Patriots of those 5? Who knows? I would put them in a pecking order of you need Jack Jones first, then probably Tyquan Thornton or maybe Riley Reif. Who knows? And after that, Trey Flowers, Cody Davis. We'll see. But we'll get to that a little bit more in the back half of the pod. Disagree with our grading? Or were we a little too cruel on the Patriots? Tough. Too bad. You're allowed to disagree, but they got what they deserved in this portion of the pod. Everybody played terribly. Let us hope that is the depths of the season and not just the beginning of the end. Thank you guys for tuning into, listening, subscribing, and sharing Six Rings and Football Things wherever you happen to consume it. Tell your friends, give us a rate, review, subscribe, share, give us a follow at Six Ring Pod, at Jumbo Heart, and at FitzyGFY. And of course, as always, thank you to our friends at FanDuel Sportsbook. FanDuel, make every moment more. FanDuel.com/6rings to join now and get some fabulous bonuses and play some same game parlays. Turns out betting against the Patriots thus far this year, a profitable endeavor. The back half of Six Rings and Football Things. All right. We got to go to the little blue tent. We got to go to the trainer's room. We got to go to the kid. Patriots have major depth issues right now all over the team. On the line, wide receivers, running backs, passing backs, quarterbacks, but especially on the defense because Sunday, 2 potentially catastrophic injuries suffered. Your team leader, unofficial assistant general manager, best pass rusher, best defender, probably best player, period. Matthew Judon, torn biceps tendon. I'm already kind of assuming, like I think many are, that he's done for the year, which absolutely sucks from Scituate to South Beach. And then defensive rookie of the month, Christian Gonzalez, your beacon of hope, your bright shining star of the future. He goes down early in the game. Of course, the next play, they target CeeDee Lamb. What he does is run straight past Miles Bryant for a touchdown. He goes down. We thought it was maybe a separated shoulder. Looks like it could be a torn labrum. Marcus Jones is recovering from the same thing right now. The Google machine tells me that on average, that should be an 8 to 10 week recovery process. If I'm Christian Gonzalez, I get whatever surgery is necessary. I rehab now. I don't stress it. I don't pressure it. And I get better for the future. And dude, this is a problem. You lose your pass rush and your coverage, and you don't even have a starting cornerback right now unless Jack Jones comes back from IR this week and Jonathan Jones can get over this mystery ankle injury. Holy hell, Hart.
Yeah, I think the good news is you will get both those guys back. If I read the tea leaves, certainly Jack Jones said ASAP he would be back, and the soonest he is possibly back is this week. He's allowed to come back. So Jonathan Jones practiced on a limited basis all last week, was one of those late deactivations before they traveled, didn't make the trip. I think there's probably a good chance you see him. So that's good news.
That's true. Okay.
I don't know that it's good enough news. I mean, the Saints have pretty good receivers, and Christian Gonzalez was playing cornerback at a level superior to anything you've had since Stephon Gilmore. So getting Jack Jones out there, capable, better than Shaun Wade. Getting Jonathan Jones out there, better than Miles Bryant, obviously, and lets those guys kind of bump down into their reserve roles and their rotational roles,
which is where they belong.
But you can't skip past the fact, and I'd say this about any team, they just lost their 2 best defensive players probably for the season. That, like, so if you go wherever you want to go, take Fred Warner and Bosa off the 49ers. They're taking a significant step back. Take Minkah Fitzpatrick and TJ Watt off the Steelers. Go wherever you want to go and take the 2 best defenders off the other team. Now,
Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner. Boom.
Yeah. And I think it's even worse for the Patriots because it's those marquee pass rusher, pass coverer. Like, oh, you want to be good in the league? You got to rush the passer and stop the passer from completing them.
What if we can't do either now?
You're porked. And we had already questioned, does the defense get worn down because they're playing so well, but the offense doesn't score points? Does frustration set in? Like, are these other
points?
Issues?
They don't keep them off the field. The defense, like, there was a point Sunday, Andy. Burkhardt and Olsen were like, I feel like Dallas has had the ball over 40 minutes. And that was like in the early fourth quarter. Like, that's
atrocious. It was a season high for, I believe, 77 or 78 snaps on defense, season high. Like, but I'm not going to put lipstick on this pig. Like, and I know some people are like, Keon White is going to step up and he's been playing 30% snaps. He'll play 60% snaps. And sure, he might. I like what I see from him. Although it was questionable when he blew up the kneel down in that game. That was a little weird.
I mean, if it was a 6-point game, I get it, but you're down by 6 plus 29. Like, come on,
that was
guys.
a strange.
And maybe Yep.
Maybe
Uche,
Josh
but he's situational. Jennings,
well,
look,
the situation is we need you, kid. Get your ass out there.
Yeah, Wise, Uche, who doesn't set a great edge and is suspect at times against the run. He's a much better situational rusher, or at least so my eyes tell me. Jennings has his limitations. He's a big dude, more of a throwback style guy. Dietrich Wise, always a baller, always playing well. He's going to get more reps. Keon White definitely going to get to start to cut his teeth. So let's say maybe even, God forbid, your boy, Christian Barmore, maybe he actually steps up and invites himself to the pass rush party and does a little something, because I haven't heard his name mentioned too many times in a positive capacity this year or in recent months, sir. And I wouldn't mind if he actually contributed to the pass rush or to the defense as well. And in absence of a pass rush, what kind of strain is this going to put on basically what was last year's starting cornerback tandem for a while, Jones and Jones, Jack and John?
It's going to put some strain on it. It's going to put some stress. Now, I did forget to mention, I think Jalen Mills maybe sees a little bit more time in coverage. I know he was in the slot a lot in Dallas after Gonzalez went down. So I think that's still, but you're piecing it together. You're bumping guys up a roll or two that I don't want any of them to be the number one corner. I want my number one corner to be Christian Gonzalez. And I want them to be 2 and 3. And I'm not sure how great I feel about them as 2 and 3, but when you make them 1 and 2, I feel less great about it in these matchups against teams with multiple receivers. And then, oh, by the way, even Gonzalez benefited from Matthew Judon. And so now you have a lesser corner not benefiting from one of the more consistent pass rushers.
So it's just it's going to carry. It's like, this as you get older, kids, a little fun boomer talk here. But anytime you do something in your body, like strain a quad, pull a hamstring, an Achilles injury, bang up your foot, it's not even just that side of your body that starts to get out of whack or out of alignment. There's always something like, now the other side of your body will overcompensate. Your back hurts. You got a knee issue on the other side. Like, this is what's going to happen. You duct tape, like the bumper falls off your car. I'll just electrical tape it. Yeah, but now actually you start to have issues where you're not as aerodynamic. You get less miles per gallon. But the bumper's fine. Yeah, but also the car has a lot of other issues. Oh, and now debris can come in under the car and you could screw up your manifold or something else. Like, this shit happens, guys. This is the way it goes. Hey, sorry. One S bomb per leg on the pod is okay.
Clean it up. No, in all honesty, Bill fixates on the coverage and the pass rush playing in concert, right? Well, this is going to sound terrible, this concert. This is going to be like, we know the trumpets kind of suck, and we know that the drummer sucks. When you suck together, it sounds even worse. It hurts my ears, and that's what this could be. The
performance art. All right, here I'll go full football guy. Hey, hi. Yeah. So are you gonna are they gonna play more zone over man now? Like, is it gonna be more? Are we gonna see a more classic bend but don't break kind of defense from the Pats? Thanks. I'll hang up and listen.
I think that would be their goal, is to death by 1,000 cuts you, let guys make mistakes. We can't make as many plays, so we're not going to let you make as many big plays. GTFB, all the cliches of the Belichickian defense, I think will be on display. You can still get beat. As I always say, zone coverage is man coverage within your zone. You still have to be able to cover somebody. Like, when he enters your zone, you have to be able to cover him. And sometimes it's worse because man coverage, okay, maybe you can or cannot keep up with CeeDee Lamb if you're Miles Bryant, but at least you know what you're supposed to be doing. If you get to the point where you have guys in different spots that aren't 100% on the same page, knowing what they're supposed to be doing, sometimes that can lead to worse things. Like, oops, neither of us had that guy, huh? Yeah, that's not great, Bob. So that's not the be all end all. It's going to put some emphasis on the coaching and the schemes and the game plans week in and week out. More so, your defense is not going to be as good. You can't lean on your defense, which I would say circles us back around to where we started the podcast. A lot of talk about the offense. Like, no, like, we need points. We need you to score. We need you to possess the ball. We need you to not give other teams points. We need you to not give other teams short fields. You have to play better complementary football week 5 forward than you did in the first 4, because the defense it can't be an 80-20 split, right? It can't be a 60-40. It's going to need to be closer to 50-50. You lost your 2 best defensive players. I can't say that enough. Like, That's bad, man. Like, I don't even know how to.
Super bad. No,
Yeah,
like your best cover guy who made up for when the pass rush didn't get home. And then you had the best pass rusher who protected a secondary that could be suspect out of Gonzalez at times.
And people are going to mock us. Oh, the sky's falling. You guys overreacting again.
It's just one game, bro. Like, you guys are so negative. No,
it's actually 13 games because that's the number of games you'll likely play without your two best defensive players.
Correct. All right. So let's just imagine both of them are Dunsky for the season. We've thrown some names out there in terms of who could come off injured reserve or may actually be healthy enough to be active this week. Jack Jones, John Jones. We could see Mills stepping down to the slot if there's a no confidence vote in Wade and Bryant and how they're playing, or who knows what kind of rotation they'll set up. Are there any other guys who may not come to the rescue, but see more time and make a difference? Like, I'll go ahead and just reach for Marte Mapu. Could he be of a sense? I know he's young. I know he's green, but he's awfully strong. He's a football guy. He's fast, hits hard. Is there anything he could add to the defense at this point, 5 games into his young career, that could help, I don't know, plug the leaks in the dam on defense?
I will say yes, because of what I just went back to. I think there's some more emphasis put on the coaching staff and schemes and personnel groupings and doing different things. And, remember play the Dolphins and all of a sudden you get 3 safeties down the field. Oh, you don't see that too often. How far are they? I think you're going to see more of that. And I do think he is a piece. He's a versatile athletic piece. He did see his snaps increase to a season high, career high against the Cowboys. So yeah, all hands on deck, and he's an athletic deckhand.
And as far as the 5 Patriots that are eligible to come off of injured reserve, these were all players set forth preseason, designated to return. The pecking order of them being, or rather just in random order, Jack Jones, Riley Reif, Cody Davis, Trey Flowers, and Tyquan Thornton. How would you they need all of them at this point, except for Cody Davis definitely is of the 5. He's priority 5. Who would you say is priority 1? Would it be Reif at right tackle potentially? Would it be Tyquan Thornton? Would it be Flowers to help with the rush and the edge?
I would say Reif, even though I don't necessarily hold out hope he can be great and solidify that spot. I want to find out because the bloom is off Vidarian Low. He kind of stinks.
2 sacks, 17 pressures. Calvin Anderson,
kind of stinks. We're right back. Chaim Bloom would be like, hey, you guys should get a right tackle, as he misses out on first baseman and shortstops every season. It's not good there. And then I would say Jack Jones, because I think you need the body, but I think he will be back. And Tyquan Thornton, I don't know if you saw, he put on Instagram like his gloves,
picture of his shoes and his gloves. Okay,
like he's back to work or whatever.
Maybe we'll see if we could see this week. If we could see Reif, I would say my pecking order would be Jack Jones because the cornerback situation is pretty dire. Riley Reif, Tyquan Thornton. If you could see those 3 guys back in action this week, there'd just be. I'm not telling you there's much more than a pinhole of hope through the pile of rubble that's blocking the exit at the cave, but there might be just a little bit of light, maybe just a little bit of light that maybe they can start making some plays and turning some aspects of the team around that have been pretty destitute or unacceptable thus far.
And I would also say, as we lust for those guys to return and maybe the impact they could make, all are questionable. Like we talked about Reif. Questionable. I don't feel great about it. I just want to see if it goes one way or the other. I would say the same for Tyquan Thornton. Like we have this idea. He's fast. He can get down the field. He's never done it. He's never really done anything.
Show me the game where he caught a 70-yard touchdown.
Right. But
it'd be at Baylor. Cool.
At this point, I'd like to try. I'd like to have it. We've talked a lot about it. Ty Law's talked a lot about it. Nobody to scare the defense. At least maybe the defenders get a scouting report that are like, wait, is this right? This guy runs a 4.2? Oh, okay. I should probably keep an eye on him. That sounds fast. That might be able to run. Like before they realize, oh, he's not very good, or he doesn't catch the ball, or he doesn't actually run routes. But they're all theoretical potential upgrades. And at this point, I think that's good enough to garner a little hope in Patriot Nation. I'm fading away.
Wow. Are you just, Andy, that's still, yeah, that's where we are, folks. This is just, this is where it's at. We're just, oh boy. Well, again, like we said, I can't promise you an escape hatch. I can't promise you that we're going to get out and find One-Eyed Willie's treasure. But if we can just get a little pinhole of light, if we can just see a little something we can move and maybe start to make our way out of this cave of sorrow, out of this cavern of desolation, then maybe
I got one.
Oh yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Well, maybe not you, but didn't a lot of us think they might be 1-3 after 4 games?
Actually, I did. I thought 1-3. Then I thought they would actually win a couple of games and go 3-3, 4.
They're exactly what you expected.
Have you? Well, I used my 2 eyes to watch the games.
And that is the answer. I'm being somewhat cynical or whatever, devil's advocate here. But some people were like, yeah, didn't you guys on Twitter were giving me a hard time? And I said the same thing you did. I said, yeah, but I didn't know the third loss would be the worst loss of Bill Belichick and Mac Jones's careers, and Mac Jones would be benched, even though Bill said he didn't bench him, which, by the way, we should also criticize him for. If he didn't see the point, if he didn't think there was a point of Mac continuing to play, hey, Bill, why was there a point in Judon continuing to play?
Thank you,
seems
Mike
like a bad idea.
Yeah, you can't. Well, we can't give him more than an F. So, I mean, but he does get, like, Belichick gets kind of like multiple Fs. He helped build the team. He coached the team. Oh, yeah. Which way does this go, Andy? Does this go 2009 Patriots? I just can't get these guys to respond. I can't coach them up. Does it go 2014 Patriots where they hit, the Monday night nadir against the Chiefs? They're not, let's face it, the Patriots aren't good anymore. And then they turn things around. We're on to the New Orleans Saints, we're on to Cincinnati? Probably not, but we have to hold out hope for something because, oh, golly, is it dire otherwise? What do you think, Pats fans? Holler at us when you get a chance at 6 Rings Pod, at Fitzy GFY, at Jumbo Hart. We'll be back in a couple of days with our preview, our FanDuel Sportsbook Bet of the Week, behind enemy lines, and everything else to get you ready and hopefully shine a little bit of an optimistic light, just a little bit of brightness for your football-loving soul on the next game and the next quarter of the season. For producer Justin Turpin, for Hat, for me, Fitzy, for everyone at WEEI Odyssey and 2400 Sports, this has been the latest and always greatest edition of 6 Rings and Football Things. We will talk to you soon, but until then and forevermore, good day, God bless, and whoa, Pats.
Oh.